Not this again. Carl Webster has managed to betray his own family one more time in Coronation Street. And this time, the person left stunned is Debbie, just when it looked like she was still willing to give him one last chance. Carl has already caused more than enough chaos in recent months. Between learning the truth about his real parentage, getting involved with his half-brother's wife, and being tied up in illegal MOT fraud, his life has been a mess from every angle. But even with all that behind him, he still has not learned when to stop. Now the latest trouble comes from the debt he owes to dodgy car dealer Fiona. Desperate to clear it, Carl came up with another selfish plan, this time trying to squeeze money out of Debbie. It was always a dangerous move, because asking for help is one thing, but using someone's trust as a weapon is something else entirely. In today's episode, Debbie and Ronnie returned to work at the hotel. After Ronnie headed off and Debbie gave Ryan Connor some instructions, she went ahead and transferred the money to Carl. That moment already said a lot about Debbie's mindset. No matter how many times Carl lets her down, part of her still wants to rescue him, almost as if helping him gives her hope that he might finally change. But Carl was in no mood to be patient. He rushed over to Debbie and pushed for the money straight away. She explained that the transfer was being delayed because of money laundering checks, so he would have to wait. Even then, Carl's urgency felt revealing. It was not just panic over debt. It felt like the kind of pressure that comes from someone trying to stay in control before their lives start falling apart. Ronnie then overheard the conversation and immediately questioned why Debbie was lending Carl money again. When she explained it was for Fiona, Ronnie became even more uneasy, especially because he has never really trusted Carl in the first place. And the moment he learned the amount was £10,000, his concern only deepened. Debbie tried to reassure him by saying Carl would work to repay the debt, but Ronnie clearly was not buying it. That reaction makes complete sense because Ronnie sees what Debbie does not want to face. Debbie is still emotionally tied to the idea that Carl can be helped, while Ronnie is looking at the pattern. And once someone has lied and manipulated that many times, trust stops being about promises and starts being about evidence. Carl then returned to work, but instead of showing gratitude, he became even more smug while taking instructions from Ryan. With money seemingly on the way, he acted as though he had already won, even boasting that Debbie would always put him first, ahead of the hotel and even ahead of herself. That line says everything about Carl's attitude. He does not just expect loyalty from Debbie, he assumes he can exploit it forever. Ryan, though, was not fooled. He had already had enough of Carl's behavior and threatened to quit. Debbie tried to calm things by offering him more money, but Ryan called Carl exactly what he looked like in that moment, a snake. And once he revealed that Ronnie had told him about the £10,000 arrangement, it was obvious Carl's little scheme was no longer protected in the shadows. Then came the real blow. Ronnie arrived after speaking with Fiona and revealed that Carl's debt was only £5,000. In other words, Carl had tried to trick Debbie into giving him double the amount so he could pocket the rest for himself. That was the moment everything collapsed. Debbie was devastated, and understandably so. This was not just about money. It was about the humiliation of realizing that the son she was still trying to help had been using her trust yet again. When she said she was done with Carl, it felt less like anger and more like exhaustion. Like someone who has finally reached the point where love is no longer enough to excuse the damage. What makes this even more painful is that Debbie probably wanted to believe Carl was worth saving. But Carl keeps proving that whenever he is under pressure, he chooses manipulation over honesty. And unless something changes dramatically, this may be the betrayal that pushes Debbie too far to forgive. Right now, it is hard to see how their relationship can recover quickly. Debbie has heard excuses before, but this time the lie was so deliberate and so cold that it may have destroyed whatever trust she still had left. Carl may try to talk his way out of it, but the deeper problem is that everyone around him is starting to see the same thing. He is not just making mistakes. He is making choices. If you want more Coronation Street updates, rewrites, and spoilers, don't forget to subscribe.